microphone that I want to use is in use. All right, we got voice isolation going here. All right. I know it's been a while since I've gotten at you guys, but I don't know. I decided that I was going to do this live stream at some point. Somebody calling me a liar on an unrelated subject in a YouTube comment section, no less. I don't know why I let those things get to me, but I was like, you know what? Let me go live. All right, you guys see the title. Why I'm starting TRT. I've been kind of rehearsing this in my mind for a while, but it never really comes to mind the way that I would really hope for it to. So, all right, who is commenting first? Oh, the car guy. Yeah, it's been a while, man. I know it's been a while. Probably in another live stream or maybe later on in the live stream. I don't know. I'll explain why I haven't been posting for much of the last 7 months or so, 6, 7 months. Um, but I am here. And yeah, we're going to get into why I decided to do TRT or get on TRT or whatever. Now, I have not started yet. I want to make that clear. I have not started yet. I am going to travel to get my blood work done to see if I'm even eligible health wise and hormone level wise. If I am, uh, if it's even for me. But for a long time, I've been very much against going into the so-called non-natural realm of living when it comes to exogenous uh, testosterone injections or whatever you want to call them. So for, a lot of guys that know my journey here of documenting my victories and failures in fitness, both as a professional trainer and also as a but also as somebody who is in charge of running my own program. I don't have a coach of my own. I've had some pretty good experiences, and I've had some bad experiences, but the good experiences have completely outweighed the bad experiences. Yeah, I've had some injuries, I've had some disappointments, I have suffered from burnout. The car guy wants to know if I am still driving a BMW. You can't see, I'm in the car. I'm in the car. Um, um, but the reason why I am doing the TRT has nothing to do with my physique whatsoever. The director that I talked to of the clinic, I let him know, I just turned 43, and I understand that most 43-year-olds do not look like me. I've had people ask me if I have use some kind of gear. People have been asking me this since I was 39, and I had a physique that was way less impressive than this. So I know that I've been blessed genetically, but also I know that a lot of my insecurities have driven my have driven me to go above and beyond in my actual training. You know, working out long hours, working out. You know, at one point, 3 consecutive days in a, not three, 16 consecutive days in a row. At one time, I was doing between 7 and 10 training sessions a week. So that means that there were at least 3 days out of the week that I was training twice. And so I worked really, really hard in a way that I'm, really just not accustomed to really working that hard. I'm not a very disciplined person by nature. I am not that determined, and due to some stuff that happened to me when I was a kid, I didn't start out very ambitious in life. Let's just call it that. But I've noticed, like I said, I just turned 43 a couple of weeks ago. No, actually 3 weeks ago now. Exactly 3 weeks ago. And I I know that I'm blessed to have the genetics that I have to be able to get to at least this level of physique, and really only get to this level after age 40. But one of the things that I've been dealing with since my 20s is the fact that, number one, the sex drive isn't anywhere near where I would like it to be. And so, I was told that it was linked to how much I was working out, and I was maybe depleting my testosterone by running my body into the ground, which is possible. But I was also having this problem when I wasn't really training. But the worst part that destroys the quality of my life, that I'm at this point where I've just gotten sick and tired of being sick and tired, is the amount of fatigue that I've been feeling in the middle of the day for years. I'm talking about the way that people feel after a 16-hour workday, and it feels like there's like they're on a leash and they're being led to their pillow and they just must sleep. No, I get that between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. every single day. Every single day. And I am so tired of being tired. And a lot of people think, well, wow, you got this great physique, you work out every day. There's no way. My diet is in order. I have my multivitamins. My performance in the gym is now, because of my greater understanding of biomechanics, is even better than it was before. Which is why I suspect that I'm getting the results that I'm getting in the gym. I'm only really getting these results because I understand from a professional level what I must do as far as the workload, pause, but also because my understanding of biomechanics has transcended what most people would call form. I have some really, really good mentors. And believe it or not, some of the people I must count as my mentors are some of my clients. They give me a lot. I have such a diverse group of clientele, both sexes and ages, early 20s to 73. they teach me how to be a better teacher. And then I end up being able to just teach myself how to be a better trainer. So I have this really great knowledge of how to move, how to teach people to move, and how to apply what I know to my own movement when I train. So I want people to know that you can get really great results in the gym. Please don't tell me they're blocking off. No, 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 don't block this off. Oh no, they're blocking this off. I got to see what's going on. When is this going to be open? Because I need to park on this block. Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, got you. I got you. I got you. Thanks. Yeah, I need to park on that block. Um, anyway, they're painting the roads for the bike lane here. So yeah, I'm really tired of really being fatigued all the time. I asked the director of the HRT clinic about the brain fog that I've had. Now, I did have COVID a few times, but the brain fog that I've had really stems from a TBI or a traumatic brain injury that I suffered at age 20. I got hit by a bus here in New York City, and I suffered a pretty severe concussion from that. And let's just say that even though my long term memory is still really, really good, I struggle to recall words that I actually want to use in conversations because I just can't find the words that I'm looking for a lot of the times. And I asked let me see if they're going to allow me to go into reverse and not, wow, a lot of parking spots are taken, but I'm going to reverse. I really don't like to do movements like this, but I know that nobody is coming here. I don't like driving backwards. All right, ma'am. I know you want to get good, 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 good. Okay. I'm like, I need to park on this block. I'm sorry. But I know nobody's going to pop up behind me because they've blocked off the street. So, is there enough space for me here? Behind the truck, right? Yeah. Yeah, they're blocking it off because, oh, you backed in this way too? Yeah, that's what they told me to do. I'm like, it's a little unsafe. Yeah. Well, oh yeah, I train here every Sunday morning. So yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky. Thanks, man. Actually, I could just park right here in this spot. That's what I'm gonna do. But anyway, so I was told by the concierge or the director of this HRT clinic that basically set up my blood work for me to go get my blood work done and all this other stuff. He told me that TRT would actually help with some of the TBI related brain fog that I have been suffering with for now over 20 years. So there's so many benefits beyond just, a lot of people are going to think, well, you just want to get on the sauce and stuff like that. Yeah, see, Nikolai White makes a very, I know you're trolling, but you make a very good case because this is one of the many reasons why I don't like I've always been against doing TRT. And he says TRT means you'll be a loser. And this is something that, when I talked to the concierge about this, I said, really, the only negative that I can think of besides the possible physical side effects is that, and he recognizes too that there is a negative stigma around introduction of exogenous testosterone, and it cheapens the gains that you make in the gym, and people generally don't respect the gains that you would make in the gym. And I realized that I have documented my progress here on this channel. I think I didn't miss an upload. I was uploading 2 or 3 times a week. I didn't miss an upload pretty much for 2 years, from the time that my dad died in January 2024 to when I got sick on vacation in the first half of November 2025. And I realized, like, I've already proven myself as a professional. I've as a professional trainer. I've proven myself as a recreational bodybuilder. And I understand that the gains that I get after this, they're not going to be as impressive to me. To me, it's not going to be as impressive. I'm going to look in the mirror. I'm going to be a little bit leaner than I am right now. I'm probably hovering somewhere around 16% body fat right now and dropping. But there is a part of me that says TRT will now make me join the ranks of guys that wanted to cut corners and all this stuff. And this is why it's taken me so long. I've been thinking about doing this TRT thing for, I think, probably like a year and a half. And the biggest thing that has stopped me is that exact perception. But I realized that I like the way that I look. I'm still gaining muscle. And I mean, even the physique that I have now, I've gained in the last 4 weeks after not being in the gym for 6 straight months. So I got back almost all of the gains that I lost in a span of 4 weeks. So it's not like I'm trying to rush I'm trying to rush to get to some kind of uh, aesthetic. It's really not about the aesthetics, because I know that the aesthetics will come, and that I've already been to a place where I look impressive for my age. But it's really not about my physique. Although I do know that it will cheapen any results that I get once I take that first shot. And I think that a lot of guys who might have been thinking about it are probably thinking the same way that I'm thinking. We don't really feel comfortable with the stigma of getting on gear. I think that the second fear that I have is that I will, let's say, like the results too much. And this might be a gateway to me eating tremboloni sandwiches. And I absolutely don't want to be that guy. But when I think about it, I think about a lot of the young kids that are doing tests right now. They're doing Anavar, they're doing Tren. They might even be doing Winstrol or some shit. There's this in the YouTube fitness community, or the online, fitness influencers. You got people claiming to be 15 years old and just blasting gear because they want to skip a lot of the they want to skip a lot of the hard work and the toiling and going through weeks and weeks of not seeing the results that they want to see. And I realized that gone beyond what I thought that I'd be able. I've already gone beyond what I thought would be beyond possible. I dreamed of the day that I could be 195 pounds, and I thought that that would be impossible because I could never get above 175. Last year, I reached 207 pounds. So I'm way beyond anything that I thought was possible. So I feel like I already have documented proof of what I was able to achieve for years and years and years, all the way up until this point. So while it will invalidate a lot of the gains that I would get, that I probably will get on, I mean, really, it's probably going to be TOT. They're not just going to replace. I've already talked to the guy. It's probably going to be more like testosterone optimization therapy, more than just replace. They're not just going to try to get me to no, it's not picograms, it's nanograms per deciliter. They're not just going to try to get me to the baseline of like 298 or 300 nanograms per deciliter. They're going to want to put me on a program that is going to get me north of somewhere between 700 and 900. The guy tells me that I'll be comfortable above 1,000. I'm not really sure if I'd be comfortable with that. But yeah, I am worried that I will be seen as a loser. I am worried that it is going to be very difficult for people to want to train with me, because the clientele that I have, I believe that a lot of the males that train with me because they believe that my above average physique is attainable without drugs. And it is, because I've done this without drugs to this point. And I'm worried that this might actually make it harder for me to take on more clients that don't want to do any kind of hormone therapy. So these are all valid things. I know you're trolling, Nikolai White 4255. I know you're trolling. Or maybe you really do feel that way. I don't know, but it definitely is a concern of mine. And basically, that's what I told the guy. I said, that's really the only negative that I can think of at this point, is the negative perception. But to get the energy back, to not feel like I need to sleep for 3 hours in the middle of the day with the sun beaming in my face and I'm just completely unconscious, like somebody bashed me in the back of the head with a baseball bat. I'm tired of feeling like that. I am tired of having low. I'm tired of having a low food appetite and low sexual appetite. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being a hermit. I'm tired of being psychologically and emotionally drained from just training 3 clients in a row. I want to get out on the road, pay my $5.80 per gallon gasoline, and go drive places and go do. I want to be. I want to live life more fully, and I just don't believe that I am in a psychological position or in a chemical position where I can feel motivated enough to live life on fuller terms. And when I think about all of the possible benefits of getting my testosterone levels up against the stigma of being someone that is on HRT, I think that at this point in life, I am ready to take on the negative connotations of what it is to be. And this is also another reason why I am doing this live stream now, before I even go get my blood work done tomorrow. I'm letting you guys know right off the bat. I know a lot of guys in the fitness industry, they will try to convince you that they're natural so that you'll buy their programs. I don't even like writing programs. I've got one client that used to work with me in person that has me writing his program. He pays me a good amount of money to write his program, and I still hate doing it. I like working with people in the flesh. I don't have any programs to sell you guys. And if you guys had questions about biomechanics or the the progressing whatever program that you are on now, if you don't like the results, I'm pretty sure that the advice that I can give you will help you without even adjusting your diet. I don't even need to talk about your diet, and I'd be able to help you get better results in the gym just by answering your questions here on the stream. So, I'm not here to grift. I'm not here, but I do feel like I need to come clean even before I take the leap. I want people to know even before I go get my blood work done to see if I'm eligible, that these are what my intentions are. So I was told that I need to, what do you say I have to do? I have to fast and hydrate for 12 hours prior to getting the blood test. And I don't like needles either. That's another thing. I don't want to deal with needles. I was told that if and when I am approved for it, that you have to use like these insulin needles and stuff. And I don't want to do that. I'm going to have the ladies in my house because I can't see myself like injecting myself. I actually joked. I know it's not a funny joke, but I told the guy, that me administering the medication myself is a gateway to me becoming a heroin addict. I know that's not funny, but I can't not make really horrible jokes, especially because I'm uncomfortable with uh, with what I'm undertaking. But my hope is that once I get out on the other side and I am about a week in and I start feeling better, then it doesn't matter what people think of my decision. I think that I would be more embarrassed if I started doing AA, what do they call it? Anabolic, androgenic, I think it's AAS. If I started doing androgens at age 20, when I was 6 foot 1.5 and I weighed about 130 pounds, I think that I would be more embarrassed if I would have started to try to cut the corner. But like I said, I've already achieved a lot and a lot more than I ever thought that I would. Let me turn off this engine. Gas is expensive. Um, I've already. I really don't think that there's really anybody that I need to answer for. And if I end up feeling better about my life and I can be more active and I can work more hours and feel less tired, that I can be around people a little bit more and feel less tired, maybe I might even be more motivated to do not just filthy casual, but you know do the main talking shit podcast uh content creation thing, because I haven't really felt motivated to do that either. I procrastinate all the time. Yeah, I look at all of these different things that I could benefit from, and somebody on the internet called me a loser for getting on TRT, but then I have to compare that against having more energy, feeling more confident, having a better outlook on life, having a better sex drive. Oh, I was also told that I will recover from training better than I do now, which is incredible because I already recover from training at. I'm very happy with how long it takes me to recover and how I feel when I recover from leg days. I did a 3 hour back day yesterday, and I feel amazing. I feel absolutely amazing. The New York Knicks are my NBA champions. I never thought that that would be possible. My Mets still suck balls, but whatever. Life is pretty good, but I'm not really enjoying it. When the Knicks won the championship, I was in a state of shock. Mrs. Evil was sitting next to me on the couch, and I saw people crying. And I always thought, I would be one of those guys that will cry when my team wins. Like I've never, the Knicks didn't win a championship until like the Knicks had not won a championship since 10 years before I was a sperm. Traditionalist is here. It's been a long time, buddy. It's good to see you. For a second, I thought you might have been Lewis popping up in the stream. But traditionalist is a guy that has been around this channel and is known. I've been very much against. I've been the guy that has constantly said you can get great results without anabolic androgenic agents. You don't need them, and I still believe that I don't need them for the purposes of physique building because I've already built a physique that I'm very proud of. But I can't really enjoy the physique that I have built because I a lot of the times I can't get myself to leave the house unless there's $150 an hour on the line. I got this really nice car. I've had this car now. I got this car in February 2022, and my odometer sits at 8,989 miles. I've driven this car less than 9,000 miles in almost 4.5 years. So, traditionalist raises a related question that's less disrespectful than Nikolai White's comment, but it goes in the same vein, and I'm going to answer it. Traditionalist says midlife crisis? Question mark. I think that my midlife crisis started when I was hyper aware of my mortality around age 9. I was hyper aware of my mortality at age 9, and I basically speed ran through the end of my life in my mind, and it created a lot of anxiety about the temporary nature of life. I never expected that I would live to be 18 because of the abuses that I had suffered up to that point. I just didn't think that I would live to see 18. And so a lot of what people will look like at a midlife crisis, I've been dealing with those uncomfortable thoughts now for almost 40 years, almost 35 years. So for me, it is not a classic midlife crisis issue. For me, I am tired. You've heard the phrase, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And while I don't get sick like I used to when I was in my 20s and 30s, I am really tired of being tired. And the number one thing that I'm tired of is the lack of energy that I have on a day to day basis. And I am tired of not desiring sex on a level that I wish that I desired it. Do I have desire? Yeah. Is it where I'd like it to be? No. Is it where the women that I'm with? Is it where they'd like it to be? No. There are a couple of women that I'm talking to outside my relationship right now. I don't feel comfortable trying to get involved with other women when my sexual desire is not that high to begin with. So, a lot of these things, I'm really itching to find out just what is my testosterone level. So, me having the doctor tell me that some of the brain fog that I have from the TBI that I had 23 years ago, that it'll help with the symptoms of that. I didn't even know that that was a thing. Now I'm definitely trying to get hit with that. Seditionalist said 20 years ago, 3 times a week sounded like having to hold back. Now it would sound like a chore. Bars, bars. And a lot of people don't understand that when men start doing HRT, it's this is one of the main reasons for most men. For me, it is one of the main reasons, but it's not the main reason. I suspect that, and guys, if you are in this stream right now, or you have started watching the stream after I go offline, if you are on HRT, I would love for you guys to list the three biggest factors for why you decided to do HRT. And HRT would be HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy, TRT being testosterone replacement therapy. And I'm not sure if this is an acronym, but I basically, I'm just, I'm not sure if I'm coining this acronym, but I'm saying TOT because a lot of what these hormone therapy doctors are calling it, they're calling it testosterone optimization therapy. We're not just trying to get to the baseline of, test levels of 300 or 400. I suspect that they'll want me around 900. I really wish I knew what my testosterone levels were 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But hey, I'm here today. And I've already kind of mapped out how I'm going to do things. My plan is I'm already stemmed up. I'm going to I have my last bottle of, damn, I got to replace my Gatorade. Fuck. Maybe I can bribe Mrs. Evil into going to Lidl or Lidl. Maybe I can bribe her into going and picking up a pack of Gatorade for the trunk. But I'm going to hydrate very heavily. I'm probably going to have my last, because I was told I can't check the instructions that were given to me, but I was told that I need to hydrate. I need to get a full night's sleep, which good luck with that. Lidl, Lidl. Yeah, I don't, dude. I've been saying Lidl, Lidl for a long time because I don't know how to say that shit. So thank you for correcting me on that because I have not really known how to pronounce that shit. It is Lidl. Thank you very much. And since you're from Europe, I got to let Mrs. Evil know it's not Lidl, it's Lidl. Okay. For her to get me a pack of um, um, I think they are a German company, right? At least they're European. I think that it's the same company with Trader Joe's. But thank you for that correction. I appreciate it. So I there are so many um, there are so many positive side effects that I stand to gain. Uh, Nikolai White thinking I'm a loser. I mean, if like Nikolai White was thinking about hiring me to as his trainer, then I guess I would be losing, up to $600 a week in revenue. But I mean, is it really that big of a loss that somebody that I don't know thinks I'm a loser, but I end up being in a better mood every day, that I can give Mrs. Evil and the lady known as Thing 2 on the podcast, that I can give them the back shots that they've always dreamed of, as far as the frequency of. Will I be a more social person? Will I shed some of this introvertedness that I have? I don't know. I was a hermit when I was 20. So I don't know how much of that is going to change at age 43. So, um, again, I know that I'm going to take some criticism, and I'm fine with that. Um, it's taken me a year and a half to embrace the fact that I'm going to be criticized. People are going to call me a loser. They're going to say, "Oh, you have a midlife crisis or whatever." I already have the late model foreign um, convertible. I already have that going. I might as well complete the entire motif. Why not? But I can tell you guys that I am very excited. I'm going to do what they tell me to do. I have to have fasted for at least 12 hours prior to the test. I'm comfortable with being hungry. So, but I'm going to be hydrating. Um, Traditionalist said, yeah, driving a BMW convertible is pre midlife, or in Europe, gay hairdresser. Wow. Wow. Thanks, traditionalists. Like this really helps with my self-esteem. Obviously, my self-esteem is fragile because I'm gonna go get TRT so I can be a loser to Nikolai. Nikolai White thinks I'm a loser. Or then I'm about to become a loser. Um, I mean, I guess they could look at me like I am a so-called gay hairdresser, but I know that man-hating liberal feminists in my city look at me like they're mad that they like what they see. So as long as I can draw that reaction, I guess I'll deal with that. Says your self-esteem must be pretty solid driving that Beamer. It's up for debate. It's up for debate. Oh, I was also told um, we got a troll in here, but it's a funny troll. So um, we're gonna embrace this trait, this troll, because as long as you don't get more disrespectful than you are right now, as long as you're not, we're gonna accept you here, Running Man 9200. He says, "Sup, my main watermelon felon." I know what you are referring to. I actually had a debate with some of my viewers on the Filthy Casual MMA Watch Party over on the Talking Shit podcast last night about my views of, I believe, the Carmelo with a K. First of all, I believe his parents should be put in prison for giving him such an unoriginal name. We need to get some laws in the books that punish parents for choosing stupid names. Beyond that, the let's just say the white middleman conservative is going to disagree with my position on the Carmelo Anthony case, and the black conservative slash black liberal will also disagree with my position on the Carmelo Anthony situation. Maybe I'll discuss that in a different live stream. Oh, we got Rattlesnake Jake in the building. Shout out to the off the script, like the main inner circle of the off the script crew. Rattlesnake Jake, it is good to see you again, brother. Rattlesnake Jake says, "Hey man, so I was taking expired testosterone pills for a while last year. My buddies were telling me to start with half, so I did half for a day and then jump full pills with the remaining. This was last year when I needed energy because I was and currently still going through a divorce. Damn, I am sorry. Oh no, that's why Mrs. Evil is not in the stream. Oh no, I got to get the. They couldn't. Oh, this is some bull. Says stopped after I started coughing up blood. What? That's nasty. I will not be. So I got a. So the only so all right. So I am in a I'm in a relationship with two women and we travel together. Um, it's essential to take a proper dump in the morning. Again, I know you're trolling, but you're absolutely correct. Especially before training, especially before squatting. That is actually, dude. I know you're trying to be annoying, but you're saying too many either entertaining things or true things. If you are looking to get blocked from the stream, you're gonna have to get uh, intentionally disrespectful. Um, Wrestling has been keeping me here. Oh, I got you. Rattlesnake, do you have my phone number? Um, do you have my phone number? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you should have my phone number. If you need somebody to talk to, dude, you should have already been hitting me up. Yeah, yeah, dude. When guys, I don't care about this whole, what do they call it? What do they call it? They call it, oh, I think she's leaving this parking spot in front of the gym. Let's get it. Um, oh man, it's gonna mess up the it's gonna mess up my when I start this car, the infotainment system is gonna take over the audio, and then I'm gonna have to, guys, if this gets messed up for a second, just hold on. I'm taking this parking spot, motherfuckers. And I know nobody's gonna come behind me because they blocked off the street while I do the lines. Okay. Yeah. All right, let me get. Okay. Guys, let me know if the audio is back. He says, but honestly, I'm in a better place mentally and depression, weight loss kicked into overdrive with the test. Since last January, I was 350. Now I'm 287, but gained 7 pounds because I stopped training. Okay. Um, Jake, you have my phone number. Hit me up. Um, you're gonna get the kind of brotherhood um, backup that you should have. I know people talk about, what is it, men's mental health awareness. No, we need to be. We don't need a special month to support each other. We don't need that. What we need is to be able to talk to the people that we trust, that is going to give us. I think there's a little bit too much glare, so I'm going to put this top up. I don't like the glare. Running Man, you're doing a little bit. Um, you're doing a little bit better with trying to get banned. Um, but you're gonna have to do better than that to get banned. So you're getting closer, but you have not hit the disrespect line. So you're still in good standing. It says I'm gonna go make my little breakfast. All right, yeah, definitely hit me up. Oh, by the way, before you leave, hopefully you didn't leave yet. I just was in the gym with JD. Not last week, but the week prior. I took him to Bev Francis Powerhouse, closer to where he lives, and I don't know. He might want to train with me again. So fingers crossed because we need to kind of get JD kind of back in the groove to being more confident like he was when I was training him in 2024, first half of 2025, I think. So, JD, I guess was I think I could be wrong, but I think that he was doing a House of Glory show where he was announcing for House of Glory, but he said train his ass to get rogue. Oh, to get nah. I think that he's going to be wearing that Atlanta Braves hat for the rest of his life. But he also needs to kind of get himself back to being himself as well. You'll be surprised. A lot of the people that you think are doing so good, they are. Hey, I can't talk shit about the Braves right now, Rattlesnake. My Mets are absolute trash right now. So his Braves are doing well with all the injuries that they have. Whatever. I can't, you know what I'm saying? But he's going to be wearing that Braves hat. But, Running Man actually, even with the disrespectful trolling, again, he's right. There's a lot of people out here grifting. There's a lot. Hey. You can slander me, Running Man, but you cannot slander baseball. I don't know, man. We might have a problem. I can't have you slandering baseball, man. I got to draw the line somewhere. Come on, man. Fuck you. You know what? You know what, Rattlesnake Jake? Hold this, son. You're disappointed in the Spurs? Hold this. You see this? Um, uh, Running Man does make a good point. There are a lot of grifters online, but I make sure people understand that the scope of my profession is personal training, and I'm certified to do so in the state of New York. Well, I'm certified to do so in all of the United States, but because I do work for a company that's based here in New York, I have to follow the rules and regulations of the scope of my profession here in New York. So I don't give targeted nutrition advice. I can't give specific nutrition advice because I don't have a certification and I don't have a degree. I don't have a nutrition certification and I don't have a degree as a nutritionist or as a dietitian. So I can give people not vague, but I can give them general basic rules for eating healthy, but I can't do like meal plans and shit like that. I am not a licensed therapist, but I've always been there for my friends. So, am I looking to sell programs online? Absolutely not. I don't even like writing the program for the one client that I write a fitness program for, and I don't like doing it. I rather work with people in person. But yeah, there are a lot of bullshit life coaches. That is actually true. And so, again, I know you're trolling really hard, but you're right. So it's really hard for me to hate on you. He says, so what? High protein, low carbs. Nope. And you would be wrong. Low carbs would actually be wrong. High protein is correct. Low carbs is incorrect. So, you know, yeah, that's the first half of what you said is correct. The second half of what you said is incorrect. Need that energy to keep moving. Exactly, traditionalist. And that's why the second part of what Running Man said is incorrect. For weight loss, it's correct. No. And again, you're still incorrect. So it is a common misconception that in order to lose weight, you need to have low carbs. It is a common misconception. But I'm going to correct you so that you can stop spreading bad information. Is your chat on all messages? Actually, no. Mrs. Evil is reminding me that my filter is not filtering for all messages. All right, now we're on all messages. Thank you, Mrs. Evil, in the background. Did I miss any comments? Oh, thank you, Mrs. Evil, for Carmelo Chimp Mode. That is from Feld, whatever, whatever. That's how you get banned. Good. Somebody found out a way to get banned. Good job. Somebody found a way to get banned. All right. Yeah, I only missed one message, Mrs. Evil. There you go. Thank you, Mrs. Evil, for hitting me up and letting me know. Yeah, Gottfried is here. My bad. I did see your message. It's been so long since I've last caught you. It was really cool seeing you in Berlin, dude. He drove from I think he drove like 4 or 5 hours from some other place in Germany to come visit, to come meet with me when I was in Berlin in 2024. That was dope. So that was super dope. So we're gonna have to. Oh, you know what? Mrs. Evil is a running coach, and she is certified. She does have a nutrition certification. Mrs. Evil, true or false? In order to lose weight, you need to get on a low carb diet. True or false? Because we're gonna school Running Man. Mrs. Evil says false. Okay, Mrs. Evil is correct. Okay, what governs whether you lose weight or you gain weight is what is known as the first law of thermodynamics. He says that's half the question. You're dishonest. No, because I've already told you that you were correct on high protein for fitness reasons. Everybody should be on a high protein diet. But you said in order to lose weight, you need low carbs. That's incorrect. It's straight up incorrect. So the first law of thermodynamics governs whether you are going to gain weight or you are going to lose weight. I have gained weight on a low carb diet, mainly because I just don't enjoy eating carbs. But I was able to gain weight on a low carb diet. The first law of thermodynamics is very simple: energy in, energy out. There are three main macronutrients that have calorie counts attached to them. And then we have kind of like an X factor. There's a little mini fourth one that I'll get to, but the main three will be carbohydrates, as Running Man said. proteins, and dietary fats. Each gram of dietary fat has 9 kilocalories attached to it as far as its energy density. If you take in a gram of carbohydrates, that is 4 kilocalories of, of energy, physical energy. And of course, the same number is protein, 4 kilocalories per gram. So it's the 944 rule. The reason why you don't want to fill up on dietary fats if you want to maintain or lose weight is because fats are more than twice as energy dense per gram as carbs and proteins. So you cannot ingest the same volume of foods with a high fat diet as you could with a higher carb slash higher protein diet. You can eat less food to hit your number. If your basal metabolic rate, so you can eat lasagna and lose weight. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, there is a guy that went viral for losing weight while having a 100% McDonald's diet. And it made me angry that he did this because too many people look at the scale number and don't look at their overall health. He wanted to prove that eating McDonald's was healthy, and it is not. It is trash and fancy packaging. So he ate only McDonald's for 30 days and lost weight. But the thing is that he says, what about insulin resistance? Now we're good. Now you're starting to pile on stuff. We'll get to that in a second. So let me address your original statement. This idiot probably, wow, this guy is driving the wrong, dude, you could have just backed up. This dude is actually driving the wrong way down a one-way street and is now, dude, you could have just backed in. Holy crap. Anyway, so if your basal metabolic rate, let's say, I don't know you, Running Man, but let's say you are 6 feet tall and 200 pounds, let's just say. And your basal metabolic rate, which is the rate that you would need to keep your organs sustained every hour in a 24-hour period, is 1,850 calories. All right, Mrs. Eva, I will see you later. And I will get somebody from the dealership to address the bends, because if we can't get the car moved, then we'll probably have to have, the dealership is a couple of blocks away anyway. I'll call them and see if they can help with the battery. This has been one of the coolest cars. The 2025 Mercedes-Benz E350 sedan is really, really cool, but we've had a lot of fucking problems with this car. And for the battery to just go kerplunk, after I recently had it serviced, I'm wondering if the valets left the car on or the battery running, but usually the battery turns off after 10 minutes. The car shuts down after 10 minutes of being immobile. I don't understand why the battery would be messed up. I don't know. I'm kind of pissed off. Running Man says, I'm a runner. I used to be fit. Now I'm overweight. I run half marathons. You're half right. You might be overweight. You might used to be fit. But the fact that you run half marathons and you still consider yourself a runner, you're still an athlete. You don't have to give up. You don't have to give up. But anyway, so let's say you were 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and I'm just picking a number out of the air. Your basal metabolic rate was 1,850 kilocalories per 24 hours to keep your organs running. If you ate 1,600 calories a day of only lasagna, you are going to lose weight because you will be ingesting less energy than it takes to keep your body running every day. So it would be like saying, for instance, I put in my BMW Z4 that I'm sitting in right now, the gas tank is 13.7 gallons of capacity. I can put 13.7 gallons of regular unleaded 87 in it, or I could put 13.7 gallons of premium 93 in it, and the amount of actual gasoline would still be the same. Now, how much mileage would I get out of the gas? If I use 87 in a BMW, I'm probably going to start messing up the internals of the vehicle, and I'm not going to get the full benefit of a healthy powertrain. Oh my God, those titties. Holy crap. That was wow. She knows she's bouncing around like that. Like, come on. But if I put better quality fuel in the fuel tank, I'm likely going to get better performance. I'm likely not going to be in a position where it's going to cost me more to maintain the vehicle. So I could, there's your TRT walking down the street. Well, I'm black and she's a hot Asian chick. I don't exist to her. So, no. Woo. I was like, damn, that was distracting. But yes, I can put 13.7 gallons of 87, but it's going to leave my car off in a worse position. Will the car run? Yeah, for a while. But the stuff that comes after it, like Running Man definitely put after it, insulin resistance, then becomes an issue because when you're constantly flooding your blood with sugar and you mess up that balance, that that glucagon like shit. What is the P in GLP? Glucagon like shit. I forgot the P in GLP-1. Fuck. Anyway, the GLP-1 peptide. So you really think it's about calories in, calories out deficit for weight loss? There's no way that you can get around it. There's zero way that you can get around it. You can have if you had a basal metabolic rate of 1,850 calories and you ate a 100% protein diet and took in 2,700, you're going to gain weight. You're going to gain weight. If you took in 2,700 calories of only dietary fats on an 1,850 kilocalorie basal metabolic rate or BMR, you're going to gain weight. If you had an 1,850 calorie basal metabolic rate and you took in 14 or 1,500 calories a day of just straight carbs, you are going to lose weight. There is no way around it. There's no way around it. This is why they say you can't outrun a bad diet. Because if it says, I know, but carbs is a lot of calories, that's not true. I just explained to you that carbs and proteins have the same energy density rating. If you ate a high fat diet and you ate the same volume of food, if you ate the same volume of food in fat as you would in carbohydrates, you're going to be more likely to gain weight because dietary fats are more than twice as energy dense. There's no way you can. There's a reason why it's not the first theory of thermodynamics. It's called the first law of thermodynamics for a reason. It's undefeated. And this is why I don't take excuses from people. Oh, I can't lose weight. No, it's difficult to lose weight because your pituitary system is geared up for you to prefer comfort over discipline. You're going to want to take in more calories because of the stresses in your life and your lifestyle than less. It is difficult to go into a calorie deficit, but you cannot, I'm telling you, the first law of thermodynamics is undefeated. Now, would it be healthy for you to eat 1,600 calories a day of lasagna? Absolutely not. I do not recommend it for a bunch of reasons. The foremost among them are micronutrient reasons. You need to have a variety of different uh, sources of calories because of the micronutrients that are attached to them. Super important. Holy crap. I need this phone for when I squat. So I'm going to run this engine and I'm going to charge this phone. I'm already down to 57% battery. So no, carbs, the same amount of carbs and the same amount of food. Fuck. CarPlay. Stop it, CarPlay. Stop it. All right, we're back on the AirPods again. All right, Gottfried. Remember, when you come to New York, we're going to treat you to dinner again. But it's good to see you again, Gottfried. Now, one of the things that I'll concede to you, Running Man, because I have an idea of why you believe what you believe. Your body is wired to take in more energy. All right, so listeners, thank you for. Oh, wait, I didn't even know you had a kid. Congratulations on that. Maybe you did mention that before I had my hiatus from YouTube on this channel. But anyway, regardless, congratulations to you and your wife. Oh, 2 years. Yeah, yeah. Congratulations, man. So the thing is that your brain wants to get energy as from the easiest source possible. Most people, when they consume carbohydrates, they're consuming what are called monosaccharides and disaccharides. A monosaccharide is a sugar chain that is very short. The molecule is just one chain long. A disaccharide is two chains long. And then everything after that is what we would call a polysaccharide. Now, the bonds on mono and disaccharides are easier to break. So your body doesn't have to use calories to get the energy from what we call simple carbohydrates, mono and disaccharides. Your body does require more energy to to extract the energy and the micronutrients from proteins and from polysaccharides. This is why when you eat vegetables, people don't think of vegetables as carbohydrates, but vegetables are carbohydrates, but they are polysaccharides. And the double wall of the cells in polysaccharides make it to where your your gastrointestinal system does not process plant matter as efficiently as animal matter. It does not do so as quickly, and it doesn't do so as efficiently, which is why it is a good idea to diversify and eat a balanced diet and eat vegetables. Vegetables are carbohydrates, but they are polysaccharides and they're fibrous. Your body is going to slow down the absorption with vegetables. It is going to help with insulin resistance by slowing down how long it takes for your body to chemically digest food matter. I will get to your question because that's also a good question, Running Man. I will get to that latest question in a minute, but I want to address the concepts so that there's no misunderstanding. Your broccoli, your green beans, your peas, those are all carbohydrates, but they are polysaccharides. Because it's harder for your body has to work harder to glean the energy and the micronutrients from the polysaccharides. Your body actually has to burn a little bit more in the way of calories to then absorb the calories from that food type. And because of the fiber, it also slows down the absorption so that you can more, what's the word I'm looking for? More completely absorb more of the nutrients that you're taking in. If you are eating mostly simple carbs, mono and disaccharides, simple sugars, you are getting easy access to energy that your body craves more than even dietary fats. Simple carbohydrates flow through your system a lot quicker. And so your uptake of that energy is going to be faster than that of even dietary fats and proteins and polysaccharides. So what the simple carbs will do is your body craves them, and overeating them is easier. It's easier to overeat mono and disaccharides than it is to overeat polysaccharides, proteins, but fats are pretty, savory. So some people can overeat on fats, but it's harder to overeat fats than it is to overeat on mono and disaccharides. Because of this, your body will absorb the energy from a mono and disaccharide quicker. And because it absorbs it quicker, you run the risk of gaining more weight if you are a caloric surplus. You're gonna get into a caloric surplus so much easier because those calories are very easy to ingest. Your nervous system is going to accept them. The candida that are living in your gut are going to ask for more and more of them. And then you're going to think that you're eating healthy. You're going to think that you're in a caloric deficit. But in reality, the way that our bodies are designed, we're not designed to live at a caloric deficit. We're designed to prefer the caloric surplus. Simple carbohydrates will influence you to go towards the surplus more than other food types, if that makes any sense. So if most of your carbohydrates are vegetables, you can eat a high carb diet and still lose weight because calories in, calories out. Now, the quality of your carbohydrates do make a difference. Are you addicted to mouth pleasure? If you are addicted to mouth pleasure and you do not stop yourself from ingesting simple carbohydrates and you're not keeping track of how many you take in, well, you're going to gain weight, like most Americans and most people living in the West today. And because you're constantly flooding your blood with sugar, that imbalance will cause that insulin resistance that Running Man was talking about prior to. And then when your insulin levels are out of whack, it's going to be even easier for for you to live at higher blood sugar levels, develop pre-diabetes, then develop diabetes, and then die an extremely painful death like my father did in January of 2024. So one of the things that I think one of the things that drives the misconception of low carb equals weight loss is because the only addictive foods that are out there are simple carbohydrates. And we only look at cakes and breads and rice and pasta. People and candy. People are conditioned to see that as carbs because they're the most pleasurable things to eat, and they happen to be carbs. But your green leafy vegetables like kale and broccoli and arugula, all those are 100% carbs. And you can tell that I'm telling you the truth when you look on the nutrition package. They will all, when they give you the nutrition facts here in the United States, the first thing that they mention is fats, and then it will break down what type of fat. It will be soluble and insoluble fat, or what they would call saturated or unsaturated fats. The second one that they will list are carbohydrates. And under carbohydrates, under the subheadings under carbohydrates, will be fibers, soluble fiber, non soluble fiber. And underneath that will be sugars. And underneath that will be sugar alcohols. And then below that will be protein. Fibrous foods are carbs. They're just not sweet. They have a little bit of a bitterness to them. It's tough to chew and break down. We don't prefer it. It doesn't bring us pleasure. So I could gain weight if I ate bushels not vitamins of vegetables. I could gain weight if I ate bushels and bushels of them. It just so happens that for the actual mass, the actual size of, let's say, a green bean, since it's mostly water, vegetables are mostly water, the sugar content is not very high. So I would have to eat pounds and pounds and pounds to get to be overweight. But by then, my body would have been like, go fuck off, because the fiber levels are so high that I would get the satiety signal very, very quickly. So it's almost impossible to overeat on just vegetables because my body would be like, go fuck yourself. But it's very easy to overindulge in pleasurable foods. Like most people, they like bread, they like pasta, they like rice. I'm not a bread and pasta and rice person. I don't really enjoy those foods. But my weakness is ice cream. Ice cream, orange juice, sweet tea. Those are my personal weaknesses. Kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. So I hope that that answers your question. People like to go low carb because the foods that they recognize as carbs, they're mouth pleasure foods, and when they cut down on those, they get less of that addictiveness, chemical addictiveness lighting up in their brain. And since it's very difficult to get addicted to healthy food, they end up consuming less calories overall. And because they end up consuming less calories because they are swearing off the stuff that they're addicted to, they end up losing weight. Some people say, oh, I lost weight because I went vegan. No. When you went vegan, you inadvertently stopped eating processed mono and disaccharides, because a lot of processed foods that are based in mono and disaccharides have animal remnants in them, be it milk, be it eggs, or what have you. So people who eat vegan tend to eat less processed foods. When you eat in less processed foods, you tend to eat less mono and disaccharides, and you end up losing weight that way. But correlation is not causation. And I need you to understand that. Correlation is not causation. So I answered your bit on the whole thing about the first law of thermodynamics. Now, and I think I also touched on the insulin resistance thing, where you were not too far off on, but you were not completely accurate. I am going to address this last point. It says this week I ate once a day a salad and a source of protein, Greek yogurt, and blueberries, and felt full. Do you believe in eating only once a day or twice a day? The answer is neither. So I know that there are a lot of people out there that did the Atkins diet. First of all, the rule of thumb is if you are eating a diet that has a name, you're fucking up. If you're eating a brand name diet, the Atkins diet, the this diet, you're already fucking up. It's like whenever I see somebody warming up for a bench press and I see them warming up their rotator cuff when they go to do a bench press. As soon as I see that, I know that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I already know that neurologically, they don't understand the bench press movement at a basic level. They only know the bro science of the movement. They know what it looks like. They don't know what it is. When you eat only once or twice a day, can you lose weight? The answer is yes. If you eat only once or twice a day, can you gain weight? The answer is yes. My father was proof of that. My dad ate once a day and his BMI went above 30, and when he ate more smaller meals, he lost weight towards the end of his life, but that was only because he was trying. I think his blood sugar had crossed the 600 mark towards the end of his life. And so the doctor was trying to keep him alive as long as he could. So my dad tried to eat more disciplined, and he was injecting insulin as well. So he ended up losing more weight towards the end of his life. But when he was at his fattest, he was only eating once a day. Now, if your basal metabolic rate, for example, is 1,850 calories a day, and you eat once a day, and it's a 3,000 calorie meal, you are going to gain weight. If you eat 6 times a day and your basal metabolic rate is 1,850 calories, and you take in 1,750 calories over 6 meals, you are going to lose weight because you're at a caloric deficit of 100 calories per day. How long would it take you to lose a pound? Roughly 35 days. If you took in 1,650 calories for a 200 calorie per day, 200 kilocalorie per day deficit, you would lose 1 pound in roughly 2.5 weeks. Now, why am I not a proponent of eating only once or twice a day? Because your lizard brain is very, very sensitive to environmental factors. If you go a certain amount of time without eating, your brain will go into famine defense mode. Now, a lot of people swear that if you could just, what do they call it? It's not keto. It's not keto, the one where they only eat in 8 hour windows. Intermittent fasting. The intermittent fasting folks don't like me. What ends up happening is no, I'm not a proponent of fasting. Um, and I'm about to explain to you why. Your lizard brain, the instincts of your body is to constantly been taking in energy and nutrients. We are not a species as humans that I need you to stay with me, running man. I need you to stay with me. Stay with me here because the punchline is coming. Your lizard brain is um, is geared up to constantly been taking in uh, energy, but we are also a species that has higher brain function. So we're innovators. We're not built to work super hard. So there's a reason why only 5% of people in any group of people in the world exercise regularly. There's a reason, because we are abnormal. We are bucking our animal instinct. Our particular animal instinct wants us to innovate and to be able to procure resources and sustenance as easy as possible by using our higher brain function to innovate rather than to work hard like your typical predator or your typical herbivore. We have innovated ways to cultivate both plants and animals to constantly feed us, to give us easy access to nutrients whenever we want. We went from farming and slaughtering to DoorDash and Seamless. That's how we're wired. Now, losing body fat is also abnormal. Your body does not want to have low body fat. Your body wants to be as fat as possible. But one of the reasons why we don't want to be fat as possible is because of the negative implications on our ability to attract a mate. Because being overweight in most civilizations is a sign that we are unhealthy. So we do this abnormal work. Like I'm sitting outside of a gym at 10 o'clock in the morning and I have not eaten yet. Yes, I'm with you, running man. I'm not hungry in the morning. We've innovated. And the reason why is because when you go a certain amount of hours without nutrients, your body starts going into famine protection mode. Now, part of that system is ketosis that people swear they're losing weight on, which does help you lose weight in the short term. But because there are other negative effects on your body, it fucks you up in the long term, which is why I'm not a proponent of fasting. It's not because fasting is not effective for seeing the number on the scale go down. It is effective for seeing the number on the scale go down, but it is not effective if you are talking about overall health and wellness long term. Because when your body goes into famine protection mode, it sets off a cascade of events in your brain that will start to change your brain chemistry and start to affect your behaviors. And so, unless you're a person with a lot of willpower, when you start intermittent fasting, or just fasting in general, not only will you become more irritable because the candida in your gut will start fucking with your emotions. It goes right into the pituitary system of your brain and starts trying to force you to eat simple carbohydrates to get your mood back. But it's only because they have been inhibited from living, and then their ability to reproduce in your gut goes down. The candida don't like that. So it will kind of hijack your brain to try to influence you to do what is called binge eating. So if you go long periods of time without eating, your body will do these two things. One or both of these two things. One, it will encourage you to eat more calories than you actually do need once you do go to eat. So, for example, if you are taking, and I'm talking about during the waking hours, if you're going through your waking hours and you are taking 5, 6, 7 hours in between meals, not only will you start to become pretty irritable and start to lose energy, but for the majority of people, your brain is going to influence you not only to eat more calories than you needed for the day, but to make worse decisions because you're uncomfortable. So there's the surface level of I fasted, which means that I was taking in 0 calories. That means I lost weight. But there is a long-term cost for it. And so people that start fasting are going to be more susceptible to developing eating disorders that will see them start to binge eat and start to overeat. And one of the dastardly things about it is when people get on keto and intermittent fasting and all of that, and they go vegan and all this stuff, what tends to happen to them is they lose the micronutrients that accompany the the calories that kind of tag along. So a lot of people don't understand, but that your vitamins and minerals that are essential for life, you're cutting the intake when you cut your number of calories, which is why it's good to use a very good multivitamin that uses sources that are bioavailable. Running Man says, I don't want to count calories again. I know generally how much I am eating. Yeah, we're in agreement. I don't count calories. And I don't like to work with clients that require me to do that. I end up, I can now, for those people that are really serious about that, I just have them hire my wife. If you want to pour over the exact calories, I have a range of where I know that I'm at based upon the fact that I eat almost the same fucking thing every day. So I have an idea of where I'm at. I don't want to count calories. That just putting that on me reduces my quality of life psychologically, so I don't do it. So we're in agreement there. But anyway, when we're talking about fasting, people end up becoming more susceptible to eating disorders because your body will start to rebel against you, or some of the microbiome in your belly, your immune system being kind of crowded out by these sugar fiend organisms known as candida. They start rebelling, and then you get an untenable situation where when you lose your willpower, you start to eat more of the so-called unhealthy stuff, the high calorie stuff. You start to become more susceptible to that. But here is where it gets really fucked up. Here's where it gets really fucked up. Because you lost access to micronutrients when you went to fast, Not all of the weight that you lose will be adipose tissue, what we are known as body fat. You will also lose bone density, blood volume, and muscle. You are going to lose shit. The fucking term just passed over my head, which is why I need the TRT. I got to get my head together. Lean body mass, excuse me. Lean body mass is defined as your bones, your bone density, blood volume, skeletal muscle, anything that is not adipose tissue. And how do we know what is adipose tissue? Anything that has a calorie cost to maintain in your body is lean body mass. Anything that does not have a calorie cost to maintain is known as adipose tissue. And so it's just stored energy. When you go fasting for long periods of time and you lose access to the nutrients that your brain runs on, because your brain is running 24 hours a day. It's not like you stop eating and you also stop functioning. No, you're still trying to function while you're doing all this shit. What ends up happening is that your basal metabolic rate goes down because you will lose lean body mass. The weight that you lose won't just be fat. Will you lose body fat? Yes, but you will also sacrifice lean body mass. Now, here's where it gets real fucked up, because people generally don't have the willpower to stay on a intermittent fasting regimen or a full, because some people will fast for an entire day or two and just hydrate and eat nothing for 24 hours at a time or 36 hours at a time. But then you have the people that only eat in an 8-hour window. They do their 8-16. Only people who have like willpower out the wazoo can see long lasting aesthetic benefits from that. But their vital organs are going to rebel against them, and you're going to start seeing the long term effects of not getting the micronutrients that you're supposed to get day to day in the increments that your body would prefer it for for optimal living. He says, so eating twice a day is more manageable then, and I won't be binge eating. So here's the thing. If you're only eating once a day and you've been eating once a day successfully for 4 or 5 years, then you are able to do it. I would probably think that you are not the most pleasant person to be around. I expect you to be pretty irritable. But if you're just looking at the numbers on the scale, then but also you have not been active, and you reported being overweight but only eating once a day, which kind of proves my point, depending on how long it's been since you went to the one time a day. But also remember too, when you went to one time a day, what did you do? You said you ate a salad, a source of protein, Greek yogurt, and blueberries and felt full, right? People who do these things, at least in the beginning, they're not just, the fasting is not just what is losing the weight. They're also more cognizant of what they eat. That is correlation, not causation. Oh, you only started this week. Now, if you ate twice a day, that's a little bit more manageable. But the size of your meals it's still going to be the same calories in, calories out. If you're eating, 2,000 calorie meal per day, it is going to be the unhealthy version of eating 1,000 calorie meals a day, or eating 3 meals that average out to 633 calories a meal, or 3 meals that average out to 500 calories, and then you add in between, protein, let's say, in between meals that add up to 250 calories. You can lose weight on that too. He says, I have a sugar addiction, but you try to, I guess, assuage it or satisfy it by fruits. Fruits are a more healthy sugar because your body does have to do at least a little bit more work to absorb the nutrients than processed sugars. Processed sugars are already ready-made energy. You don't have to work for that energy. And that's another reason why your brain prefers it. Sweet means free and easy. And an apple is not as sweet as, you know, this. Now, I've been in the fitness industry. This is my 14th year in the fitness industry. And I swear by these intra workout. And all this is 100 calories per serving, 24 grams of carbohydrates, which makes it translates, that translates to 96 grams, 96 calories. And per serving, and you can see it right here, it says 1 gram of protein. So 24 grams of sugar is equal to 96 calories. And 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So 96 plus 4 gives you the 100 that you see at the top. Now, what does it say? Total sugars, 21. So this is super high sugar, right? When I was a kid, I could not be trusted with a package this large, pause, because I would eat it all in one sitting. But why am I taking this into the gym with me? Because my blood sugar is about to fall off a cliff right now because I'm about to engage in a lot of heavy training. Today, I plan to squat and chest press today. My workout is probably going to take anywhere between 2.5 and 3 hours. I was working out yesterday doing back with a little bit of biceps for 3 hours yesterday. And I did not have any calories, so my blood sugar made me feel like I was going to pass out. Well, how can I use simple sugars to keep me from ending up in the fucking hospital? Easy uptake of energy. How is it that I can have this physique and stay lean and eat nerds? Because of when I eat the nerds and how much activity that I put my body through on a daily basis. So when I take in sugar, it is for strategic reasons. I don't eat candy when I'm just sitting on the couch watching YouTube or watching the Knicks become the 2026 NBA champions. Yeah, motherfuckers. I use this strategically to make sure that when I deplete the sugar in my blood and I start running the risk of fainting, that I can use this strategically and I'm not overweight. Because I have curbed my addiction to mouth pleasure, except eating vagina. But we're not talking about that right now. I'm able to limit the simple sugar intake that I engage in and use it only for tactical reasons to make sure that my blood sugar stays stable while I am engaged in heavy training. The sugar, I never get to a calorie level or a sugar level where I eat so much of it that I have extra of it that my body will then store as fat. Another misconception is that body fat and dietary fat are the same thing. They're not. A dietary fat is just a lipid. That's all it is. It's a class of molecule. It's a lipid. But adipose tissue is not the same thing per se. So yes, can you eat sugar and lose weight? Absolutely. How much of it are you eating? That's the question. I have a client that always says, I really want pasta, but I want to lose weight. My answer is always the same. How much pasta are you eating? If you're eating too much pasta, then we're going to have a problem. If you are limiting your portion sizes, you'll be okay. And we've got mental illness. Usually we got like black people with the mental illness. Now it's a white guy yelling at his demons in the middle of the street. This dude was literally just looking over his left shoulder behind him across the street, yelling at a street sign with an iPad in his hand. New York City, folks. New York City. New York City. Anyway, so if you're a person that has low willpower and you try to do intermittent fasting, the more likely outcome is that you're going to develop an eating disorder. And the most ugly part about it is that because you are going to lose lean body mass and adipose tissue. When you lose lean body mass, it brings down your basal metabolic rate. So this is so fucked up. You can go back to eating the same amount of food that you used to eat before and get fatter than you were before. People end up not just gaining back the weight, but they end up fatter than they were before because they lost weight in an unhealthy way that was non-sustainable, and they lowered their bone density, they lowered their blood volume, which makes it harder for them to be active and to recover from strenuous activity that will help them become more fit. They lose muscle mass. And for a lot of us guys, it negatively affects our testosterone levels in the long term. Some people report a boost in testosterone in the short term, but it will cost you in the long term. So if you are overeating by 200 calories a day, because most Americans that are fat don't overeat by 1,000 calories a day. The vast majority of overweight Americans overeat by between 15 calories and 50 calories a day. But over time, over the years, you wonder why you're 10, 15, 20 pounds overweight. And it's like, well, you didn't gain all of this muscle. You didn't gain all of this fat in 2 weeks. You gained this over years and years and years of sedentary lifestyle and slight to moderate calorie surplus. So when they go into the calorie deficit, hey, Carbon's here. Good to see you, buddy. Question real quick, unrelated. Are you playing Forza 6? Are you playing Forza 6? I hear that Forza 6 is considered to be one of the best racing games of that are, I guess, on the market or all time or whatever. I don't really know. I'm kind of out of the gaming, but I hear Forza 6 is, as the younger folks would say, goated. I need to know, is it as good as the hype says? All right, now back to nutrition. So what ends up happening is, let's say you try to eat healthier by eating once a day. You end up in a caloric deficit that costs you micronutrients and also adipose tissue. And let's say your basal metabolic rate, and I'm going with that same number of 1850, this mythical number of 1850 kilocalories that I used before. Let's say you were at a deficit, you were only eating 1500 calories one time a day, and you saw that you lost weight. Okay. Oh, wow. You're 43. You're 47. I just turned 43 3 weeks ago, tomorrow. And I have a client who is 73 years old. So I know you were trolling me earlier, but I have a lot of information that is accurate that I can give to you to at least help you get towards a healthier. Thanks, Carbon. To get you towards a healthier lifestyle without. How can I say this? Without all the pressure. Because right now you said, oh, I run half marathons and I'm overweight and, I haven't been doing what I was supposed to do. A lot of times it's because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And then that pressure that we put on ourselves to get back to where we used to be then paralyzes us. And then before you know it, we've been inactive for 6 whole fucking months. And we're looking at January talking about some fucking New Year's resolution. Today might have been your lucky day running, man. We might have to get you back running again. But you need to get to a place where you can be neurologically comfortable in ramping up your activity. And going on a fucking starvation diet is going to actually probably give you more of the symptoms of depression. That's going to make it less likely that you are going to want to get out there and be active and reclaim your fitness. I went from 170 pounds lean to 207 pounds lean and gained all that muscle without TRT, TOT, or Tremboloni sandwiches after age 40 because I found a way to work hard and eat comfortably in a way that didn't stress me out because life is hard enough as it is. Life is hard enough as it is. And I'm already a low motivation person, which is one of the main reasons I want to get on TRT. I want to be more motivated to do not just the training that will make me more attractive, because let's just face it, if I were Caucasian at my height and build, I would have to beat the women off of me with a stick. But I'm not that good looking. And I'm not the right race. In fact, I'm not even black enough for black people since I'm mixed race. I'm not South Asian enough for Indian people, even though that's, in my, they're a part of my ancestry. I'm not Hispanic enough. I'm not Caribbean enough. I'm not black enough. And the very little bit of Caucasian that I have, I'm definitely not white enough. So, I have a weird looking face. My voice is weird. I have an off-putting personality. I got to do everything I can to do something to help my self-esteem. So I get in the gym and I stretch the muscle so it feels like it's about to rip off the bone. I built up my neurological connection to my chest so I can peck dance like a fucking gigolo or a male stripper. I don't know. I got to do something. I can't have a bad personality, an ugly face, and not be jacked. I got to do something. So he says, I always run, but now I'm slower. Nah, that can be fixed. He says, I lost 100 pounds in 8 months and maintained it for 4 years. That's hard to do, man. That's hard to do, man. That's hard to do. So you are a person that I would classify as somebody that has above average willpower, but that's not the majority of people. So you're going to be able to deal with the discomfort that comes with, but then after a while, you're going to end up losing that. And then you're going to end up with a worse physique and then blame it on the slower metabolism. Your metabolism can get slower. Yes, your metabolism can get slower, but you can do a lot to fight against that with your lifestyle. And if you stick around here, I can definitely give you tips that will make it a little bit easier for you to more comfortably get back more of your fitness quicker. People don't believe the fact that I lived with chronic back pain from age 34 to age, I want to say, my dad died when I was 40. I lived with chronic back pain from age 34 to age 40 and a half. And I changed my motor patterns at the suggestion of a now professional bodybuilder known as Eric Janicki. If you don't know who Eric Janicki is, look him up. Please go subscribe to Eric Janicki's YouTube channel. He's got accurate information. He's one of the very few influencers that you can listen to and know that you're not being steered wrong. And he just got his IFBB pro card in 2025. I'm so proud of him. One of my old clients went to college with him. He was like, I know who that guy is. I recognize him. Definitely look up Eric Janicki because one very simple suggestion that he made on the leg press solved my back pain in 8 days. And I have not had the chronic back pain come back in now 2 years. And my biomechanics on my squat are the best it's ever been. I cannot believe that I can squat as well as I can today. But I am a fucking wizard. So I got to give myself some credit. Anyway, so what ends up happening is once you go back to your regular way of eating and you don't even take in more calories because you lowered your BMR and it doesn't take as much calories to be at maintenance level. If you go back to just the old calorie level, you're going to be in a higher calorie surplus than you used to be, despite eating the same amount of calories you did before, and you will end up fatter than you were before, which is one of the reasons why when people use the GLP-1s, and then they get off of it, they not just gain the weight back, but their physiques are worse and they feel worse about themselves. Because most people, when they use GLP-1s, GLP-1 receptor agonists, when they use that classification of medication, they tend to think that it is skinniness in a syringe. So the what the glucagon like protease inhibitor one, I think I got it. I think I got the P wrong. Pause. He says, in push-ups and squats and push-ups, squats, and pull-ups enough for strength training, or should I join a gym? I love this fucking question. And I've actually put off my workout for you specifically for more than an hour because I want to see you get accurate information. And plus, I don't have my first client of the day until 7 p.m., but I might need to take in some calories before I train. As a matter of fact, let me pop the trunk on my bitch ass. I might have a protein shake. 1 second. I might have a protein shake in my trunk. Give me a second. I might just drink that shit to make sure that I don't fuck myself up in the gym. 1 second. Ah, fuck. Yes. Oh, yes, I did have a bottle. Yes. Okay. I'm probably going to need to drink this. I've already drank my pre workout and vitamin mix, which allows me to perform without losing micronutrients. And then I'm able to train hard before I'm ready to eat. Because when I get home, like I'm like, give me all the food. And I don't really enjoy eating, which is one of the reasons why when I get up, it's hard for me to eat. But it's because I don't enjoy eating. And that is for psychological damage. That is from psychological and chemical damage done to me when I was abused as a child. I was a victim of emotional, physical abuse and nutritional neglect. So it messed up my, it make sure I'm still here. It messed up my relationship with food. So I struggled to eat, which is probably one of the reasons why I've been skinny my whole life. So usually my training drives my appetite and also my knowledge that I can't build muscle and I can't be attractive to the women that I want to be attractive to. That forces me to eat. I don't know what it is about skinny women, but I'm really into them now. Maybe it's because my income level is higher than it used to be. I don't know what it is about. Let me not get distracted. Okay, so also you don't. You said that you always run, but now you're slower. Part of the reason is because you've picked up a lot of weight, and it takes a lot more energy to move more mass. So if you got back to healthy eating and got back to a healthier weight, two things are going to happen at the same time. Number one, you're going to be carrying less on your body and it's going to be easier to transport it when you run. That's number one. Number two, your cardiovascular system is going to be even more efficient. So your VO2 max is going to go up. And if your VO2 max goes up, you're going to find that your heart rate at a certain level of exertion is going to be lower over time. And you're going to find that in the same amount of time that you would run X distance, usually over time, you'll find that you'll be able to run a longer distance in the same time. And that's how you know your speed is up. So I hope that made sense to you. Now, my favorite question. Dude, you can still get your VO2 max over 50. My wife used to be lazy and overweight with asthma. She has now run 12 races of marathon distance or more. She's run 11 marathons and one ultra marathon. She's a slow runner. She normally averages about 5 hours and 45 minutes, I believe. Her average finish time in marathons, 26.2 miles, is usually somewhere around 5 hours and 45 minutes. She's slow, but she's also really short too. But when she got depressed and stopped running a bit, she's having a slower time ramping up. She's actually having a harder time this year training for the New York City Marathon than the last several years. She's having more trouble with that. So, dude, accurate information and hope. I hope that this was informative for you because I want to see you win. Like I said, I have a client who was 73 years old and she's had a history of elbow problems and knee problems. I have a 73-year-old woman squatting ass to grass now. Tuesday at 1 p.m. and Friday at 1 p.m. are two of my favorite hours of the week because I get to help this woman. Kofa is in the stream. What's goody? Kofa, what's good? Dude, we got to do a collab. We got to do a live stream. I got to do a cameo on your podcast. And here's why. So, I'm a guy that I run my channel where I'm very accepting of trolls. My new friend here, running mate 9200, started out trolling. Maybe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And then now we're getting into this fitness discussion where I'm actually taking time out of my day to give advice that I normally charge $150 an hour for. And I realize Running Man 9200 is 47 years old. Kofa is also over age 40. But Kofa's target demographic for his YouTube channel are, I want to say, mostly black men between the ages of 25 and 65. And you can correct that for me if you want to, Kofa. There's a lot of talk about the anti-male rhetoric that is out there in society, and I'm always going to speak against it. But here's the deal. I think that it would be beneficial for you to have a professional come talk about physical fitness. Because I remember a stream way back when you were asking me about healthy places that you could eat at fast food. And I was giving you the places that are the least detrimental to your health. And that you can kind of like buck the system a little bit to use certain types of fast food to move you towards your fitness goals if eaten in the right way at the right time. Kofa, I need you to do this for me. The link in the description of this live stream is a link to the Talking Shit podcast. Click on any live stream that we've done. You know, we do the Filthy Casual MMA watch party, the whole bit. I need you to find me on Discord. I don't know if I have my Discord in my description on this stream. If it's there, to just hit me on the Discord. But I think that you and I need to have a talk, because it's easy to talk about how men are demonized in society. It's easy to talk about, you know, some of the other socio-political issues. But if we as men are going to be healthier and demand respect from a society that says that we are not deserving of love and respect because we're evil because we signed for a package at birth, that we need to be giving each other hope through accurate information. And we all know that bad information travels farther and faster than good information. So I need you to hit me up on Discord, Kofa, because, or you can drop the @ for your Discord, and then I will hit you up on back channels. We need to do a collaboration where people can ask questions, because there are so many misconceptions about A, how difficult it is to get fit, and B, the things that you would need to do to get fit. Yes, it is going to take effort. You're going to have to sacrifice some pleasure in your life. But it is not as hard to get fit as people think it is. And I think that's another reason why people don't actually want to do what it takes, because people have told them, oh, you got to do intermittent fasting and you got to eat no carbs and you got to feel drowsy at 10 o'clock in the morning from not eating carbs and all. No, you don't need to do that. And when you figure out that a balanced approach to fitness is going to get you places, not just further. It may not be as fast as cutting corners, but it's going to get you further and be sustainable for your life. And you're going to be healthier physically and mentally if you go about it the balanced way. I don't have a course to sell you. I'm not even selling programs. I am giving you information that people pay me a lot of money for. I'm not sitting here in a BMW Z4 as a man who was homeless 21 years ago in this city. I didn't get to this place living where I live, driving the cars I drive, because I don't give people value. I would like to make it big on YouTube, but I've been on YouTube now, what, since 2012 or some shit? And I'm irrelevant and I still do these live streams and for nobody? It's not about the money. Although I would like to have some more money. That's not a lie. I would like to have some more money. But anyway, I want to answer this question before I go because this is a really big thing. Running Man says, is push-ups, squats, and pull-ups enough for strength training, or should I join a gym? So when you're saying squats, what you're talking about are body weight squats. Now, contrary to popular belief, people who are overweight are usually stronger than people who are not. And here's why. Our bodies are not meant to carry the weight because there's a lot more stress on our joints, ankles, knees, hips, and axial spine. The heavier you are, the more gravity has an effect on you, the more stress you are putting on your connective tissue, which would be your ligaments and your ligaments and tendons, and also the little squishy pads in between your joints that helps you absorb shock. So we would talk about the meniscus in your knees, and we're talking about the discs in your spine. So you're going to have a better quality of life if you're not carrying as much weight on your frame. But just like squatting 225 pounds, if you put 200 pounds in your back and you squat, your legs are going to get stronger. So people who are overweight tend to have a higher baseline strength than people who are not, I'm talking about of people who are just getting into fitness. So you have already identified yourself, Running Man, as a person who is overweight. So can body weight squats help you get stronger? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Can push-ups help you get stronger? Fuck yeah. Can pull-ups help you get stronger? Fuck yeah. Do you need a gym? Fuck no. Is a gym a nice to have? Absolutely. I'm fortunate to live in a luxury apartment building that has a decently kitted out gym in the subcellar. I'm sitting out here outside of Powerhouse NYC, and I also have a gym membership at Mid-City Gym in the Times Square area of New York City. These are all good places. But I've spent a lot of money getting access to places that have an environment that I want to train and that gives me specialized machinery that I can target my body in certain ways to manipulate my body in a targeted fashion to get a more well-rounded physical aesthetic, especially in my upper back. Kofa says, keep cooking, bro. Got a jet? Yeah. Kofa, hit me up. Get me on your podcast. We're going to be giving health tips to the people. And it's not going to be, fucking wushu, voodoo, pay me, frauds in Florida money for a consultation. No, we're going to give them Easy stuff, easy, accurate information to get, especially black men, since we are at higher risks of certain cardiovascular diseases than other sub-demographics. Let's get these guys healthy, man. Let's get them healthy. Let's actually do this together, and we can shit on all the Knicks haters together live. But thank you so much, Kofi, for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. I appreciate you. Says going for a run outside. Good chat. I'll take what you said in consideration. Hey, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. But no, you do not need a gym. But here's the deal. Most people, I would probably say 99% of people do not execute the squat, the pull up, or the push up effectively. Yeah, go for your run, man. I hope you got some help, and I hope that you got some inspiration today. You're always welcome to come back and ask more questions. I am freely giving of information. We will talk about movement patterns the next time we talk. If you don't want to join a gym, you don't have to. But I would caution you to make sure that you learn how to incorporate the proper movement patterns to avoid injury, to avoid pain, to avoid joint inflammation. Now I'm going to drink my protein and go squat and hit my chest press. Thank you to everybody that came through. I love all the trolls except for the guy that got banned. I love teaching. This is so much fun. Thank you guys for coming through. Much respect to everybody. Kofa, Running Man, the car guy was here earlier. Carbon came through. Mrs. Evil, sorry about the Benz. I'll get one of them to come help out with the car or something. And now I'm going to drink this protein. I'm going to get focused. I'm going to go there, fuck up these squats and these dumbbells. All right. Everybody, thank you for coming by. I will talk more about TRT because I'm going to go and get my blood work done tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch you on the next one.